Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, and welcome to the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament here on Speed Gaming 4. We have ourselves a great match going on tonight between Tetron and the already battle-tested jkoper. I'm joined here in the commentary booth by Dark Moon EX. Dark Moon, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. I was the one that just battle-tested jkoper earlier tonight in a race that I'm gonna have nightmares about for a while. That was just gross. I think jkoper's gonna have nightmares about it too because he suffered the hard end of that one as well.
Yeah, I got the chance to peek in a little bit of it. It was definitely something, to say the least. But hopefully, jkoper will get the chance to move on from that because, well, you got another match right now, and it is actually part 2 of the jkoper trilogy for tonight because it was jkoper and Dark Moon in this one, jkoper and Tetron in the next one, and I believe jkoper and Burt Reynolds in the third one.
It's gonna be. So I didn't get a chance to see everything that's on these characters right now, but thankfully, our tracker JLo managed to track all of that down for us. We've got 4 forced. Everything you see is going to be the party that both players have to play with. Black Belt Fighter Thief with a red mage to supplement. If you're only going to have one mage for a party, this is the red mage to get. What we got along with that is the fighter is able to equip the white shirt and the Vorpal. The Black Belt's actually able to equip the katana. The Thief can equip the defense sword, and the red mage can equip the Excalibur. So, I mean, if you find all 4 of the best swords in the game, and you don't actually have a tail, who said you need one? Because, you know, you can just throw some gold bracelets on everyone and go into Topher that way, and you're probably going to be fine.
Absolutely. Also, given the fact that a black belt is one of the 4 forced members of the party, you could conceivably just do a black belt grind and watch it punch everything 2,000 years away.
It's the thing of, okay, if we don't find a good sword, absolutely I'd probably do that. I think if we found a good sword for any of the party members, I'd be inclined more to just use the swords and see what level I happen to just walking grind up to when I got there. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the amount of chest checking you have to do and the way that the scaling is set and how the tiles are shuffled, you aren't guaranteed to find a good grind. That was something I just suffered from earlier today. And finding a weapon, because you have to check for loose everywhere, you're more likely to just get a good sword and not really have to worry about it. And we're off and running.
All right, so here we go. We are into Canaria. Looks like the white magic is Cure 2 and Life are your highlights there, and Ice 2 and Serving of Cake, I guess, are your highlights in the black magic shop.
Yeah, Cake, Lock. You'd wish you could get Life, but it's, I believe, Red Mage and Red Wizard locked. So no reviving your characters today, sadly.
At least not at the level 1 spot, anyway.
Not at the level 1. No. Level 1 is just a sad and unfortunate day for everyone involved. So, Tetron's looking at what kind of weapon to pick up. Looks like he's going to grab some iron sticks for those that can use it. jkoper got the heck out of dodge, and he's already off towards Temple of Fiends and Garland. And we're going to see if there's a loose item here, or if we just have to kill Garland and move on with the seed.
Yeah, of course, saving outside Topher, or Temple of Fiends, just in case. We have a Confuse Hammer to start out with.
I mean, that makes me a little more inclined to go do an early Volcano Dive, because Carrie is susceptible to Confuse. If you can get to land, you can actually take her out with relative ease.
So what chance would it be for that Confuse to land? Oh, speaking of loose items.
Confuse landing. Now, someone in chat's going to have to correct me. I believe it's around an 18% chance, but maybe it's higher. Maybe. But yeah, no, that crown is nice, because that's one of the 2 loose already out of the gate. And a seed like this, that black belt is going to be nice, because there's a good chance now with Pale and Roost Stick and Saber Gauntlet in the pool, and you've already found one of the loose items, you might just be able to squeak through without actually having to find the second loose and do all the turn-ins. Get a grind, get it going, especially if you find a good weapon, and just move on with your life. That would be ideal.
Yeah, the appearance of that loose item early definitely does, I think, help. And considering that both characters have the same party, it definitely helps them both. It looks like we get a ship from the king and a TNT from Sarah, so we have a ship and we can blow things up with it. Sounds perfect to me.
Game is encouraging us to go do a Western Circle C wandering, but first we should go check the pirates and maybe just go check Matoya while we're there, simply to make sure the second loose isn't at Matoya and we can just lollygag our way through the rest of the seed, no problem, you know?
Right, yeah. I figure if that second loose is indeed in Matoya's, holy Moses, I think we might hit warp speed on this.
I know I would if I was in that position. That's the kind of seed I want to see with a black belt in my party.
All right, so jkoper going ahead and heading over to take on the pirates while Tetron picks up their ship and TNT. And Ice 2 is probably going to pay some pretty quick dividends for jkoper, and it looks like is indeed.
That's the nice thing about pirates. Any damage sweeper is going to eliminate the whole set of them, because the pirates, I think, only have at max 12 HP. They are disposable. And that's the...
That would be the ruby, I would expect.
Yeah, I think it's... You can't play it, so it's not an instrument, so I think it is the ruby. And there's the loot right there, our drum for 11th thou. At 11,000, I would be inclined, especially when you're sitting on like 7 or so, maybe sell that Confuse Hammer that we got earlier. Get the money off of that if it's enough to cover the 11 grand that you need. And then just go buy that loot and never think about the shop item again.
Yeah, that was actually what I was just thinking myself. Go ahead and spring for that hammer so that you don't ever have to come back here.
Yeah, I got a Invis something in my previous seed, Invis Axe, I think. And when I got to Pervoka and was ready to buy it, I was like 9 gold short. And I was like, well, that's the life of the Invisax right there. It done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Looks like we've got Tetron going ahead and doing that Western jaunt. And turn in the TNT, and let's see, we get ourselves a cube.
Not immediately useful, but the second we get out on the Circle C, if we can get the chime as well, then that's going to help us just immediately do an early skydive, which I like in this flag set, especially if you can find a brack or something. Early sky is a great way to get your levels and not have to do a grind until necessary.
Yeah, that's especially if you're more familiar with these flags, I can definitely see that. Admittedly, I would be a little trepidatious to do that, but it's certainly good logic, like you said, especially if you do have a brack.
It's the thing where I would be like you. I'd be a little trepidatious about it, but at the same time, you know the vets that you're going to be playing against in brackets are gonna do a move like that. So you got to get yourself ready to do it if you want to compete at the higher levels.
Right, absolutely.
Yep.
So jkoper looks like jkoper going to the west and not checking the dwarf, it looks like.
He might check it on the way back.
Yeah, that's fair.
We get the rod here, so as soon as we actually get out onto the open ocean, we can go check Earth immediately. Got the ruby, so we can turn that into Sarda, and then I would just... Earth isn't that bad with the right spell outlay. So I would probably just go and do Earth as well. Just get it out of the way. With, what do we got? We got Fire 3 from level 2. That was what I was double checking. Fire 3 and Quad X, that's good enough to get you through, Earth with some supplemental ice too.
Yeah, that is definitely doable if you can manage your spells correctly.
So I think that's what the seed is. Ooh, gross! I hate spiders every time. But yeah, that is basically what the seed is telling us to do: is go hit the Earth portion of the continent, that Earth peninsula. Go do all of that, and then think about finishing up the rest of this. Because what we're looking at right now, Sarda or Earth is probably going to have the canoe, and depending upon how things lay out with that cube that we already got and not much else to do, I wouldn't be surprised if a floater's somewhere near in our future as well.
I was going to say, I guess the only real counter to that is we just going to say we don't have the canal yet, I don't believe. So
no, we don't. That's going to be probably a marsh cave.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was going to say probably marsh first, and then, absolutely. Once you get that opened up, there's no reason at all to not go ahead and do because you've got Ruby, so you can get to Sarda. You've got the Rod, so you can get to the Earth incentive item in the first Rod floor and just go nuts, basically.
Yep. And whatever is at Marsh Cave is going to either lead to the canal or the canoe. And that's going to define our next moves no matter what.
So jkoper's giant likes the asphalt road grade, and Tetron's apparently likes it a little more bitter.
Well, you just want a little zest on there. You get your asphalt, you put a twist of lemon on top. It's a good way to serve a drink.
Sure, yeah. If you like the very crunchy variety.
Heck yeah! Good lemon squares. That's all he's looking for. We're gonna check the magic now at level 3, see what we got. Rub. That's a black magic level I'd skip.
Yeah, nothing exactly screams out there.
No, not in the least slightest. And consider the fact that Life 2 is also White Mage locked.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, I don't think that Red Mage is buying any magic at level 3. It's just not worth it.
No, not in the slightest.
Warp, Zap, and Fire 2. Okay, so the magic in this seed isn't atrocious. And in fact, if you could have, like, a White Mage to supplement your Red Mage, it would be fantastic. But, like, Heal 3, Cure 4, Red Mage can learn those, that's nice. At least Heal 3. I think Cure 4 after class change. But, like, it's not anything I'd really want to have to explore the game with.
Yeah, this magic is, for a party that was forced to only have one magic caster, it's really not working well for the magic casting.
No. This would be a fine magic loadout for, like, a White Mage, Black Mage, with, like, Fighter Thief, I think. You'd be able to do this. The way it's going right now, though, you're desperately hoping you find some of those swords, and quick. Like, don't go out of your way, like, don't check Marsh Top or anything, but any of the greed chests you can find along the path, you're checking them because you desperately want to find a sword so you don't have to worry about your magic anymore.
Yeah, an Oreo party would be making much better use of this magic. But yeah, I think if you're in either runner's shoes, you're going pointy stick, pointy stick, pointy stick, please.
Oh. Those Gurimps are grody. Poison Touch, I believe, or something poisonous, along with a damage spell. I don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah, chat mentioning that the Grey Wolves had Frost as well, which is also not pleasant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tetron's a little behind jkoper, but Tetron's been very meticulous about what he's doing. I don't think it's necessarily a insurmountable lead. We're going to have to see how Marsh Cave plays to see what really happens, but, like, right now, the minute or two difference between them isn't a huge deal just yet.
Yeah, for the most part, what I've noticed is Tetron is much more meticulously shopping in the different towns, and jkoper is just sort of blitzing on through.
Sure, why not? Why not have the gargoyles have rub while they're at it? This seed wasn't gross enough already.
Oh, no, not a bit.
jkoper getting a little lost on the treasure chests right there. It happens. And you know what? If we had even one better damage spell, I would absolutely take a couple waters in Marsh. But we don't. So Canal it is. Canal lets us go and get outside into the ocean, turn in that ruby and that rod. I do ruby rod and then sages in that order just to, like, keep up with, you know, what's nearby and how you do stuff. Oh! Cal, one of our people can swing that. I remember that.
Yep, absolutely. That red mage now has a pointy stick to be able to toss along with the spells.
That's the least useful of the swords. I'm putting that out there because of all the characters that you wanted to get a sword to swing right now, it was not the guy that was doing the heavy lifting with the magic.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Red mage is not likely going to be swinging that Excalibur.
No! Appreciate it, game. You really backed us up there.
I mean, at the very least, jkoper is going to be taking about $48,000 for his trouble, because that one chest was pretty spiffy.
Yeah, no, the 48 grand was nice. I would definitely keep the X-Cal on the Red Mage until you class change, if you class change. But at the same time, that was just rude. One other thing I'll point out is I really wish he had his Thief up front. Because a lot of these ambushes he's getting, he wouldn't be getting with that lucky Thief up front.
Yeah, I noticed that Tetron has been doing that with the Thief, and I didn't realize, honestly, that the position of the Thief would have anything to do with ambush potential.
Yeah, the first character in the first slot character will have ambush, will help against, or will be the thing that rates the ambushes and surprise attacks and everything else that you can do. And they don't even have to be alive for it. If you get that Thief a decent number of levels and then let him die, he'll still provide ambush protection just because the body is there, and that's all that matters.
So it's essentially the game pushes you into a battle, checks the number, and says, "Oh, so how lucky is the first person? Oh, they're really lucky? Cool, you can, punch them in the face."
Yep, exactly. That's what it is. Now, I mean, the downside is the fact that if they do have to survive through a battle, they're the first one to get hit. But the benefit for the Thieves in this flag set is that with their bonus 80 agility, they don't get hit very often. So, put the Thief up front. Gold -2s for 11 grand. Considering the fact that we haven't seen a lot of really good armor yet from chests, I'd buy one or two of those just to have them in my back pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because you know where the shop item is, you know how expensive it is, and you also just picked up a whole crap ton of money. So why wouldn't you? Although jkoper is choosing not to.
That's fine. That's fine. Now Tetron got the canal, marking it down. Gonna try and take out some of these waters with ice too. I can see that. If they're not too strong, and they aren't, they're about a couple hundred HP. And he's already level 9. That's good. It's not going to help him as far as getting out, because I don't think he had any warp charges. But it is nice to have level 9 for the future. That'll make the whatever you do over on the Earth Peninsula a lot easier to work with.
Yeah, it absolutely will. And I think, I wonder if Tetron was trying to see how many charges of Ice 2 he had left, because he went into that second encounter and then immediately noped back out of it.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And it was an ambush he got on it as well. So if he'd had the ice charges, I would have liked him to cast it, because I think he could have done pretty well with that.
Yeah, especially coming on the heels of a surprise attack. I agree.
Yeah, take it. Take it if you can. Okay, Temper and Lightning 3 at level 5, but unfortunately, Red Mage can't learn that spell just yet. And Exit also beyond his control. He can have Aether though. Woo! So, yeah, that Red Mage is not holding up his end of the party.
No, not a bit. I mean, when a fear is your best spell that you can get, you're not exactly living your best life.
Oh, hey, Silver's +2. They're not quite as good as that Gold -2, only by a couple degrees, and they're 1/10 the price. So that's a nice piece of armor right there.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask you what the difference would be between those two, but you read my mind.
Yeah, it's Silver's +2 is going to get a 4 bonus on it. The Gold's is going to lose a 4 penalty. And considering it's 24 on the Silver and 32 on the Gold, I believe. They get within about 6 points of each other. So the Gold -2 is still better, but not as substantially as it was in the vanilla game. Oh, I'm getting correction on it. Gold. Apparently my base numbers are off, like, by a lot. So Silver +2 is apparently a 19 for Absorb, and the Gold -2 is a 20. So actually, for 1/10 the price, you're only losing 1 point of Absorb. I'd take that.
Yeah, I was about to say, so it is better, but not that much better.
Yeah, by such an infinitesimal degree that you probably won't notice it with the way the game does math.
What? The game does math? What?
And yeah, I mean, no matter how you look at the math, they're pretty close to each other. And I'm not the guy to ask for specific numbers on things, because I just go, oh, this is equipable, and then I listen to what the vets tell me to do. done.
I mean, listening to veterans is generally a pretty good move.
There's our herb, so we can go, like, sail around the bottom side of Elf Castle before we go somewhere else for that. I mean, I still want to check Earth. I still think the Earth check is the good play to do. Do it while you're here, and then once you've done Earth, you can sail around that side, past Elf Land to turn the herb, and then go to the Sages. Just, boom, boom, boom. The game is basically laying out a linear path for us this whole time.
Yeah, that's the route I think I would take too. I mean, because unless you really just feel like you have to do a super gamble, there's no reason I think to do any route aside from that one. Because you're already in the area, you've got the rod. Why not do Earth?
Yeah, and it's the rule of any randomizer: do your turn-ins, because like the turn-ins are the key to you figuring out what your next step is to do, and you don't want to like leave something on the table that's actually going to help you solve the seed. So. Yeah, right. And you can see the two players are basically doing a high five right in the same part of the peninsula. They're within a minute or so of each other. Tetron is taking a few extra fights that I think jkoper is skipping out on, trying to get that early walking grind out of the way. I don't hate that. I think that's smart for where he's at.
Yeah, I was going to say this battle in particular he can't get away from, but yeah, he has been fighting more battles. Of course, he's level 10 right now, and I'm not sure where jkoper is, but I don't think jkoper is quite that well off.
Yeah. And jkoper is you can tell he was thinking about doing Earth, decided not to do Earth. He's going to go do Herb? Yeah, he's going to go do Herb next. So, we're getting our first real divergence here, and if this doesn't immediately become like canoe or floater, then I feel like this might be a bit of a time loss for jkoper. Turn in the herb, and then we see what the Waking Prince is going to give, and it's the slab. That is so not helpful. Thanks, Prince.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a time loss, because now, of course, you've got to go back to where you were, turn it in. And then that probably I would
do anything with it.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, you can go turn it into Dr. Oon, but it doesn't actually do anything for you just yet. Now, what do the Sages have? That's the next question. This could still work out in jkoper's favor if, like, the floater is right here, because then he can just turn it in, and a lot of the things that Tetron would do on the sea, he can do in the air and save just a little bit of time. The speedboat makes it a little more negligible, but a little bit of time.
Right, and jkoper just got a little bit more time to play with because Tetron got absolutely destroyed by a huge pack of Gerwolves and is having to go back. Yeah.
So, Tetron is sitting on cabins and houses. Those houses lead me to still think that he should go do Earth. And he is. So our divergence is playing out. We will see whether the Sages or the Earth Cave is the play to make to get this seed to open wide for us. Snacks, I'd skip, and he is Seafood Party Pack. If you can kill it, but unfortunately without a good level 3 spell that will actually do it, Fire 3 not being good against them, that's not a fight I want to take.
No, absolutely not.
No. And there's the canoe. So, jkoper, do you go to Volcano and Ice, or do you come back to Earth Cave? There is our question.
Yeah. We did get ourselves a little scoop of vanilla here.
We did. It wasn't even vanilla bean, it was straight vanilla. Oh, look, Cat Claw +4 for max price. Silver's +3, though. That's a cheap weapon that's actually pretty good for middle to end game. jkoper, put your X-Cal... No, he can... Your red mage can equip that... Okay, well...
jkoper was mentioning as we were getting ready to start the race that he hadn't had a chance to check all of the bonuses and malices, so that might have slipped his mind. He may not have really been able to make a good note of that.
Yeah, Tetron does not want to see Grey Wolves on this floor. Grey Wolves are gross. He doesn't want to see Grey Wolves ever.
Oh, no. No, just avoid them full term.
Wow, Groger's like rolled nothing for health.
So it looks like from where jkoper is going right now is, well, I was going to say heading back toward Earth, but no.
Ordeals? Is he ordealsing or is he going to Onrak continent?
It looks like he's
ordeals.
ordealsing.
Ordealsing. Yeah. Which is, I mean, in his position, this is definitely a play to make. He didn't do Earth. He doesn't want to do Earth yet. But he has the canoe, and there's... Ordeals generally has something good in it. It's the rule that a lot of us have of always bet on Ordeals. Go to Ordeals when you get the chance. So, in his position, I don't mind this play.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you've got the canoe, and Ordeals is a fairly easy spot to get to. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's definitely understandable. The tetron is going to be the first to get underneath the vampire floor and, assuming doesn't get bodied by the party upcoming, to show us what that earth item in fact is.
Oh yeah, he also doesn't want to see Gurimps as well because they had a nasty spell that would still probably flatten his party in a large enough group. I'm having flashbacks about specters. In my previous seed, they had like damage poison.
Oh god.
That was like every time they showed up, I clenched a little. I'm like, please go away, please go away.
Yeah, let me out.
That ice cave, by the way, was hellish for me. So, harm to a sword. If only we had a white mage. But one of our characters can equip it, I believe. No, that's the Bane sword. So no one can equip it. Cool. Never mind. Just use it to cast harm 2. Thanks, game. Yeah, the difference between the Bane and the defense is I believe the defense doesn't have the icon at the back. So I should have known that, but man, whatever. Roll sword. I'd throw that on my thief or my fighter. One of them can do it. And the bottle, which also isn't immediately useful. So at this point, we're looking at ice or ordeals with the floater or loose, maybe in volcano. Best guess.
I was gonna say loose and volcano would be more than a little horrifying.
Especially if you sold that confuse hammer.
That's true, yeah. I was about to say that we were getting somewhat close to 10 key items, but that's what I get for having done comms for a free enterprise seat earlier today.
I mean, we are getting close. It just doesn't do anything for... I mean, it does a little marginally per item, but not the big bonus that you're used to.
Yeah, we're not traveling to the moon on this one. I mean, we're getting fairly close in the Sky Palace, but...
I keep telling the devs that we should put in like a submarine like underworld or something for us to explore, but they never listen to me.
Well, I mean, that sounds at least semi-similar to some of those bonus dungeons in the later iterations of Final Fantasy.
Fire 2 stick is nice. That helps some. Things have gone very poorly for Tetron. I didn't even see what happened, but things have gone very poorly. It's a good thing we have that X-Cal. That might be the only way we're getting through this Lich.
At this rate, yeah, it sure looks like it.
And the floater's in ordeals, so jkoper more than likely has himself a nice substantial lead now.
Yeah, more than likely. I mean, we were talking earlier about the proximity play being probably the better one, but well, that's why these matches are played and why it's not just spelled out on paper, because sometimes you're right and sometimes in this case we ain't.
Tetron wisely moving his silver armor down to the red mage who can use it. Putting the black belt up front because they actually don't matter. Not when you have an X-Cal wielding red mage. And we're going to try and cake the Lich. Oh! Okay.
Yeah, at least it was only one turn paralyzed.
One round. And fell into the crack. Okay. Best thing that we needed right there. That takes care of that. Earth Cave is down. So while Koper has the floater, and we'll be able to turn that in pretty quickly, Tetron is on the board. So that helps him out a lot.
Yeah, it does. If Tetron had gotten wiped here, which was a fairly possible event given what was going on, then yeah, I think the lead swings heavily in jkoper's direction. In this case, it's I think still a little bit of a lead, but certainly not as large of one.
We always jest that Lich 1 is a speed bump, but I have actually had times where he's wiped me just because the fact that he had a level 3 magic spell, and I did the dumb play and just went in there at a low level, and then he made me pay for it. So, yeah. Because he'll make you pay.
Yeah, if he gets the opportunity. I mean, the guy resents being called a speed bump all the time, I would expect.
So Tetron's back in here to revive the mages. I don't mind this, but considering what he has available to him, I would have preferred if he'd sailed to the outside of the continent to come here so that he could just continue on his merry towards the sages.
I expect, though, while he's on the way out here, he'll probably just go ahead and turn in this slab, since you're going straight by there.
I tend to not like to turn in the slab until I actually can do something with it, so I don't forget that I had it.
I can understand that. I mean, I think it really just depends on what you're comfortable with as a runner, because in my perspective, whenever I get it, I like to go ahead and turn it in, because I'm afraid that I'm going to get to Lefane, talk to that first NPC, and see the magic words on screen that signify that I have borked up. Because, unfortunately, Lupa Lupa is probably one of those words that is occasionally in my nightmares.
So Tetron's on his way to the sages now, going to get himself his canoe, and then I think more than likely we'll probably end up seeing him go to ordeals as well, because there's really not a lot left unless you really just want to go to Ice Cave and Volcano.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because I think if Tetron does go to ordeals, then I think jkoper's still ahead, but it's a small gap. But if Tetron does go ahead and go to Volcano, that gap gets a lot larger.
Yeah, if Tetron goes towards Ice Cave and Volcano, he's ceding time because Koper's in the air. Even if Koper did all the same steps afterwards, like he went to Ice Cave, he went to Volcano, he can do it faster.
Oh yeah, absolutely, especially in the case of Ice Cave.
Yep. So. But Tetron is going.
Yep. So, I guess it's obviously too early to say the clock is ticking, but jkoper's moves are playing out pretty much exactly as I assume he was hoping they would.
Yeah. This is a time loss.
Yeah. Tetron's is yet to be determined, but not really looking good.
There's still plenty of places that Koper could have a problem. I mean, he could wipe out of Earth right here. We saw how bad the Spooter Scum Pack is. There's any number of places where something bad could happen here. But if Koper has the same level of luck that Tetron had, then just doing the same steps, Koper's going to be able to do it faster. And that's the problem Tetron is facing.
Right, yeah. So it will, like you said, this floor to some degree will determine things. If Koper can get through it, then yeah, I think the ball is squarely in jkoper's court.
Tetron is also in like the early teens in his levels. He needs to stop fighting fights like the Ochos and the Caribs, because they're just, unless this is on, and it is runnable, it's just not worth the time that he's putting in on them.
Yeah, that's one of those things that, just coming from my perspective as as a runner, that's something that I could probably stand to be a little bit better with too, because you've got, of course, the idea of the walking grind, but you then, like you said, you sort of run into a greater problem ultimately with essentially diminishing returns for a lot of those fights.
Yeah, like when you're level 1 or level 2 and you're wandering the overworld and you get an imp pack, that's cool. That'll get you to level 3. That's great. That level 3 is substantial and good. At a certain point, you just have to learn when packs aren't worth it. And past level 3, imps aren't worth it. Past level like 4 or 5, even the iguanas and the mad ponies around Provoker aren't worth taking unless they're unrunnable. At the level Tetron's at, some of the fights here in Ice Cave just aren't worth his time because the popcorn here isn't worth eating.
Yeah, and as is often the case in both Ice Cave and Marsh, not only is the popcorn not worth eating, it can eat you.
Yeah, it's poisonous. Don't touch it. So, like, you can see a 6 or a 9 pack, and, like, Lizard Brain says, oh, it's a 6 pack, I should fight this. But when the 6 pack is only worth maybe, like, 900 EXP, and you could find a tile that's worth 2 or 3 grand, don't fight the 6 pack. Like, this fight, no. Don't take this fight.
No, I was going to say, that Harm 2 sword does... I was about to say, the only reason I would take this would be if I had a really good harm weapon. Mm-hmm. And, of course, Harm 2 is pretty decent on that front. But, yeah, so 971, yeah, that's not a huge amount.
No. He got level 13. That's great. Not worth it. I would, like, it. When you can get 2 grand, why take 1 grand? And that's the math you have to do. Now, Tetron does have warp, so he didn't need to check that chest right then. He can do it here. And there's our adamant, so we can do a turn in later. He didn't really want to see that. He wanted to see the floater, which we know is nowhere to be found. But he's not going to check the rest of this dungeon. He's just going to get the heck out of dodge. Which, I like the play. I mean, I do like checking the tiles at the bottom floor, but I think Tetron is absolutely committed to triple melee, so he doesn't need to, like, do a static grind.
Right, and yeah, since these flags have it set that any of the incentivized dungeons cannot have any of the loose items, then yeah, that further incentivizes just zooming.
Well, thankfully that Harm 2 sword is going to clean up that one ghost that resisted fire.
Yeah, exactly.
Final Fantasy Special.
Yay!
Yep. 1200's nice. That fight took a little long to make that 1200 worth it, but 1200's nice.
Alright, so jkoper getting that Earth Crystal lit and is over in Gaia, probably about to pop the bottle after selling things and buying other things. I don't remember exactly what... Pro Rings. Yep, good pickup then.
Yeah, he had Slab and Bottle. He can do both those turn-ins, get those out of the way. He's 4 items from go if he doesn't care about class change. So... Bottle and Slab, he would hope, will turn into the things he needs to get into Sea and Sky. And then all he'd need to do is, like, find one of the 2 items at Sky and the other one at Waterfall, and he could just be done with this seed already. We found both the loose, didn't we? Did we not? I'm already having seed bleed.
Oh, that's fine. I think the only loose we found is that crown in the top of Temple of Fiends.
Okay, so we're still waiting on that. Saberbonk from Fairy is nice. Saberbonk from Fairy does not get us closer to go mode.
No, it does not. But it does, it does get you that nice little bonus in attack, and that is, you've got 2 party members that can definitely use it, and a third one that can use it upon promotion, I suppose.
Okay, so we got a fast shirt, like, right here, easy to get to. And then we have Saberbonk that's right along the path. This is indicating to me that just go gold bracelets and swords and melee and just don't stress about the black belt.
Yeah, and also don't really stress about the magic per se because it's already just crashed on the shore.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you have Fast and Saber, you have basically all you need.
Right, yeah.
Quad melee this.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning also, jkoper I noticed just hit level 13, and I think is actually level with Tetron now in terms of strength.
And there's our Oxyel, so that's one of the 2. That points me towards doing sea and waterfall. I think I'd check the Cardias along the path first just to make sure that the other loose isn't on the Cardia. And then you go do waterfall and then sea and see if the loose is in sea.
Yeah, I think you're on the right path precisely because you're close to those anyway. And since you don't have the time to be able to get into Mirage Tower, then I think it's a pretty obvious move on that front.
And we'll get into exactly how to explore sea once we get there, but there's our second loose. Tetron just got himself the exact reprieve he needed.
Yep. Absolutely, because now he knows where both of them are, and if he wanted to, he could stop looting. But it looks like he's going to check out the armory since it's nearby.
It's the armory. You still want some more swords. You still want the ribbon. So like, I don't hate this play because you really do need to just do something while you're here, and armory almost always provides.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Ribbon and Cardia. Depending upon how loot goblin-y Tetron gets, he might hit the Cardias and get that one.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Oh lord, there's that katana too.
Now you kind of want to see Tetron just go and do a little loot goblining over in Cardia. I don't know how much of this he's going to check. I don't remember how much of a looter he is in these dungeons. So... like, if it's me, I'm going. I'm doing nothing but greed. But I know some players like to take a slightly more methodical take, and Tetron seems a little more methodical, so I think we'll see how this is going to play out.
Right, yeah, I will say, him finding that key in Volcano has... well, you were mentioning it was pretty much about the best thing that could have happened, because, now that... not to say necessarily that completely bridges the gap between the two time-wise, but the more boxes that jkoper opens now in Waterfall, and particularly in Sea Shrine, the more time that Tetron makes up.
And he is greeting and going now. He's actually not even greeting, he's just going. So Tetron is not interested in doing any more looting here. And yeah, so every chest that jkoper opens at this point is a chest Tetron's not going to. And that also indicates to me that he's more likely to try and find a grind tile, just because he's not going to probably find the other swords. And X-Cal and Iron Rods are not enough to carry the day.
No, they're not.
No. So
interestingly enough, we have found the Katana +4, we have found a ribbon, we have found one of those gold bracelets, all in Cardia, so all of this looting that jkoper's doing is getting some valuable stuff, just not the loose item that he's looking for.
No. And it may be that Tetron does the Cardias. It may be that Tetron, when he finally gets into Sky, goes and checks Sky 3. There's some good places where you do looting because the chest density is good. The Agama floor of Volcano does not have good chest density unless you want to go way out of the way to go to the Grey Worm tile. So...
yeah, there's so many steps involved in that. It's definitely something that you would only do if you really felt you had to.
Blizzard is not a great skill to see on carry. That's gross. That was really not nice, Carrie. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a pretty terrible thing to start out with, and that confused hits.
Woo! Okay, so we're good now. Just let everyone swing. Just swing. All you gotta do is swing a weapon. Go to town. You're good. While Carrie punches herself for minuscule damage. Now, Carrie can punch really hard. The reason why Carrie is punching herself while she's confused for minuscule damage is because technically the monsters don't punch themselves. The monsters cast Fire 1 on themselves. That's just the way the game is programmed. Good programming there. And Carrie, it being the monster that she is defended against most magics. Like elemental magics, so she's not going to suffer much damage because it's fire, and she's fire, and she just doesn't suffer elemental magic anyway. So, but when Carrie's confused, who cares? You can just punch her all day and she eventually dies, like she did right there.
So when she's confused, who carries, I guess? I was gonna say, considering I recently did a broadcast where mostly all I and my other co-com did was pretty much trade bad puns the whole time, I'm perfectly fine with this. So I will be curious to see what Tetron does next. I'm presuming probably an ordeals trip.
Probably ordeals. Well, he doesn't really have much else he can do at this point.
Yeah, true.
He could check the key locks. You kind of hope he doesn't, but he could check the key locks. Oh, hey, out of bounds, Matt. But right now, he has a 1 crystal lead over jkoper and is doing really well for himself, all things considered.
Yeah, it looks like picking up some of these silver twos, probably going to go ahead and turn in the slab if he hasn't already.
He's here, I guess. And yeah, his black belt isn't quite at the level yet where... Oh yeah, fast shirt -1 is going to be better than your silver bracelet, because the shirts are basically a gold bracelet. And we already established that the -2 gold bracelet was slightly better than the silver +1 or +2 that we have. So a -1 shirt's going to be that much better, just by grace of having 1 less minus. Math.
Yeah, math on stream, ill-advised for pretty much anybody.
It's 1 less minus, that makes it better, right? Your red wizard still can't buy stuff, dude. He still sucks.
And jkoper has the tail. You don't.
Yeah, he's still awful. Just ignore him as a mage. He's much better with the X-Cal. Just let him swing. In fact, I would literally, honestly, put the saber bonk on the red mage right now. Put the fast shirt on my fighter and let the fighter fast the red mage, so that the red mage can swing with the X-Cal, because that's your best bet. That's so sad to say. Oh, wow. He does get -1 hit percent per level, which sucks a lot. Red mage kind of sucked in that regard, but all things considered, I'd still let him swing it.
So now we have another potential destination for Tetron, now that he has picked up the chime. Does he go sky, sky, sky?
I think for him, he needs levels. And if I were in his shoes, after doing ordeals, I would go to sky. Go get yourself those levels. There's monsters in there that are susceptible to the Fire 3, and they're pretty much everything in there is going to be susceptible to the X-Cal. Go do ordeals, then go do sky, and then get a 3rd crystal lit on your side, because you're there.
Yeah, and it looks like that's precisely what he's doing. So heading over to ordeals. Yeah.
He may bounce out of the sky play once he gets the floater here, which I can't blame him for. But proximity, you're right here. Sky's right here.
And Speedy Boat makes it a lot easier to contemplate than otherwise.
So far, we haven't seen anything nasty on the ocean, so... Will it be 1? No!
Of course, if we had paid more attention during jkoper's run through ordeals, we'd know the answer to that question. Or at least I would.
It's always that thing where I want to pay attention, and then by the time I look over, they're already through the maze.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, right now, someone was pointing out that, wait, the loot should be marked off. Didn't we get the loot? I thought we found a drum or something.
We found it. I don't think anybody's bought it yet.
Oh, okay. So they know where it is. So yeah, technically, as soon as they both get the one item they're missing, they're in go mode. They may not have bought it yet, but they have the go. Okay. Cool. And that's the Agama on the tile. I don't know, I think I take that. I take a few of those, I get myself into the 20s with my party, and then I just go finish the seed. And that looks like what Tetron's gonna do. Maybe let a couple of your characters die. $16 and $15, that's not bad. I don't know that because, I mean, even with the black belt in here, I don't know that I go to like the 30s with any of them. But I could see doing low 20s with these before you go to Sky. That way, whatever you get in Sky is gravy on top, and you're in good position for Topher.
So it looks like jkoper has decided to grow up. So congratulations, jkoper. You're a big boy now.
We grew up. And yeah, Red Mage can kill a Agama on his own at this point. I think I let two of my characters die, and I just two-man this for a bit.
Yeah, I think that's why I think that's why Tetron put the thief up front to let the thief die. But the thief is doing a bad job of dying.
Yes. Well, he's agile, and even without any armor on him, he's just going to be agile. It's going to be hard for him to die. You need a good, strong enemy like a golem or something to get a good hit on him and punch him down. But I think he may be done.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. I mean, getting a few levels off of that Agama is a good move. So probably, yeah. I think is what, 16, 17 level-wise
16,
now?
17, yeah. I think he might have a slight level lead again. Oh no, he's tied with jkoper right now. So that's good. That's doable. He's in a good position for a melee party.
Right, yeah.
Now, the one thing I know about jkoper is he will go into Topher low level. He's just going to get his walking grind and then move on with his life. So, whatever Tetron does, he can't stay still for too long because jkoper is going to just go. Tetron gets his floater, probably wishing he'd done this in a slightly different order, but at the same time, you know what? It's going to work out for you. It's fine.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of if wishes were horses, we'd all be riding sort of thing. Yeah, chat pointing out that jkoper's likely going to give a lot of time back looking for that second loose. That is likely, yeah, that likely is going to be the issue here. And it just depends on how invested jkoper is in thinking that loose is here in Sea Shrine.
Well, I mean, jkoper's best hope is that the loose is here, even though we know it isn't.
Right, yeah, of course. I mean, jkoper is very much definitely hoping that it's here because, I mean, he's here and proximity would dictate that would be a good thing. But like you said, we know that it's not. Tetron knows that it's not because Tetron's found it. And so this, at least to some degree, might decide how the race goes. Although, as you were just mentioning, of course, jkoper has shown a penchant, as in a few hours ago shown a penchant for going ahead and doing that Topher dive early, so never say never, really.
And yeah, as J-Lo points out, he's going to full clear this. He's going to give a lot of time back. He probably will get some decent levels here. Maybe get him towards the 20s. But it's going to come at a cost of how much he has to spend here in the way of time. So Tetron having done that, he's going to go... I think he did a slap trans. So he should be able to turn it in out. He's clearly thinking about what to do next.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did do that turn in.
Of course, he's got the fun 3 encounters quickly in a row that the game loves to do.
Oh, don't you love that?
So nice! So nice.
Yeah, I think the moments when I love the game the most is when you get those one-step encounters, and
Mm-hmm.
I say a few things that I probably shouldn't in polite company, but fortunately, it's just me. So,
Yeah. If you watched the seed I played like a couple of hours ago, and some of the crap that I went through, there were some times where you could probably read my lips and see just the vehement, like, nasty things I was saying to the seed.
you can see the steam rising from your head
Oh
from
my
miles
god.
away.
I was tilted there for a few minutes. It was bad. It was just bad.
Yeah, what little I was able to catch of that race, I didn't get to see a whole lot of it, but
Mhm.
it just Topher seemed to be particularly ugly.
That was one part I didn't see. That my Topher was smooth sailing for the most part. Okay, so Tetron now with the loot that he knows where it is in go. He just has to go buy the loot. So now he just gets to decide how much he wants to do in the way of checking and what he's looking to do as he gets his way out of here. Sky would be the play I would make if I'm in his shoes because he's right here.
Yeah,
Not
I mean,
sure why. Sorry, I was just gonna say I'm not sure why he's taking this fight though.
I guess I'm not sure either, and he's getting the wrong end of some very
Yeah,
paralytic enemies here.
he should get away. He should get away from this. He just needs to get. They're too beefy. He needs to get away from this. I mean, he made it through, but it's kind of like that question: at what cost? And Sky it is. So Tetron is going to take probably a good portion of the fights that he gets along the way here, because these fights are going to be worthwhile. We will just see how much of the dungeon he actually decides to loot. Not the first floor. I think that indicates he won't loot the second floor.
Yeah, so I'm sitting here thinking what Sky could have because Sky is incentivized. I'm assuming, considering what we already know, that it would be crystal into Ruse item.
Yeah, if we don't have the ruse item, that's going to be the thing. Pretty much, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the only thing that's left on the table. And I think Tetron takes it because that ruse item is too valuable not to pick up.
Yeah, I would do that too. I mean,
Yep.
especially because you don't really have to go very much out of the way to get the Sky item. It's just slide over a few steps and there it is.
Yep, just slide on into Sky's DMs. And there he goes. And you were right, Crystal.
Yep.
Pretty much the only thing we had left.
Tetron does just that.
Yep. Well, it's the ruse item. You need it. I hadn't realized on the fun enemy names the Gurnagas were renamed Lady Sneck. That's amusing. That's a recent change. I know the devs have been adding fun enemy names in. Level 18's okay. Rock Galls, Rock Galls, they're value. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Take them. Take them. Little beefier than I'd like, but they can just go punch the thief. It's fine. Lot beefier than I'd like. Still take them, though. One more round should kill him. Fortunately, oh, well. No one needs a black belt. Black belts are disposable. It's fine. More XP for everyone else.
Yeah, we're gonna do the anti-black belt grind on this one.
Heck yeah. 6 grand. Look at that. Now he's getting into the 20s. It's great. That's what he wanted. The black belt wasn't really holding up their end of the bargain anyway. Just let the black belt kiss some dirt. They can just be the ablative meat shield and Topher. They're fine. We'll check the 4-pack. This is the greediest of the 4-packs. I agree with this. If you're going to check anything on this floor, this is the 4-pack to check. And we know the Chimeras aren't very strong at all. I'm okay with fighting them again. That's a gamer in chat asking if the anti-black belt grind is the white belt grind. Sure. He got to level 20. He's what, like a green or a red belt?
I'd say at least green belt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, a non-runnable air pack though. Yipes.
Yeah, that's not great. Especially when we don't really have any magic that they're susceptible to. If they're super evasive, this is gonna be bad. And while I can appreciate him fasting the knight, I think he also needs to fast his red mage soon after. Yep, they're evasive. Yeah. This is not going well at all.
No, not a bit. That thief is barely staying up, and
trans!
That's even worse. And Ruse. If Tetron were not at the Bridge of Destiny, I would be crying abort, abort, abort.
Yeah, I might, like, if this happened on any floor earlier, I'd probably reset out of this. I will not deny that.
And they have sleep. It's just getting nastier.
Honestly, I think he needs to stop casting his... Well, never mind. So this is gonna end soon. I think you reset out at this point. I don't care that I've spent 3 minutes in here. You reset out at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, after I was watching that, I missed the fact that jkoper just killed Kraken. My bad.
Yeah, pretty much.
That sucked.
We were all just watching the train wreck, I think.
Yeah. So that really sucked. And that's unfortunately just kind of the way it's going to play out here, because Tetron's in his high teens and doesn't really have any good weapons for anyone besides the red mage. He's in a bad place.
Yeah, and chat pointing out that not only did jkoper take down Kraken, he also cleared out all the chests on the mermaid floor too. So completely full cleared the sea shrine.
That wipe is honestly exactly what Koper needed to help him catch up. Because it's 2-2 right now, and while he doesn't have the loose item, he only really has Volcano left to go to before he can finish out this seed. He's gonna get it.
Yeah, exactly. That has pretty much leveled things up, and like you mentioned, now the fact that Tetron doesn't have any weapons is, I think, might be swinging this the other way, because jkoper will be able to kill more stuff and not get quite so ransacked by those lovely airs.
Yeah, and unfortunately those airs are generally pretty common on that Bridge of Destiny. I'm deeply worried for Tetron right now. No, run away. You can't kill that air, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Tetron has pretty... Ooh, metal slimes are unrunnable. Hopefully they're not unpleasant.
I don't mind that with Fire 3 on the thing. I think one thing that Tetron should have done was cast Fire 3 against the airs. I don't think they're any more susceptible to it than they are the Ice 2, which is not by much. But it's a level 3 spell. It probably was going to do more base damage.
Yeah, that's true. I have to imagine, though, when Tetron originally got into that fight, I expect once he started seeing all those different status effects coming across the plate, was just increasingly despondent.
Yeah, no, that's not an easy reset wipe to take. There's nothing you can do about it, but you don't like seeing it. And it's one of those times where you're just like, I have to cut my losses. I feel bad about this, but I have to cut my losses.
I
Oh, the
I am now curious why in the world are those vampires called Edward?
Twilight.
Do
That
I?
would be the reason. The main vampire character from Twilight, because we
Oh
always call
Lord, right.
the Wiz vampire packs the Twilight Party Pack or the Twilight
Okay, that
Cosplay Pack.
explains
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Edward.
I again, it's because I've played too much FF4 lately. My first thought was, wait a minute, that's not a bard.
No. They're powerful. They'd be called Edge,
That's fair.
who's also technically named Edward. That's the deep lore. Oh, okay. You got that. You got the ambush on Warmac. Run.
This Bridge of Destiny is just not treating Tetron very well at all.
He got through. He got through, and that's what matters. Now,
This is true.
the next problem is he's still not very well equipped to handle this carry or the carry Tiamat. I do not know how he gets through this fight. Because I appreciate that he's fasting his fighter. His fighter is still only swinging an iron stick. I mean, I guess if you saber enough, sure.
Yeah, 20 sabers in a dream.
I mean, I've seen people get through with dumber weapons. Oh god. Oh god. Oh hey, it didn't even hit. Perfect.
Yeah, that had to have been a scary moment.
So the next thing I want to point out, many of our characters who have decent hit rate are only getting one hit on Tiamat, if any. Red Mage needs to start casting Lock soon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then the red. Yep, Red Mage was an example of it, and Tetron immediately adjusted.
Mhm. Good. One more hit should do this. And fighter isn't put to sleep. That's what you need.
Oh, yep, the lucky miss there. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well, one more hit should do this. By black belt. You were not needed.
I think poor
You did your
Black Belt's
job.
just getting flattened.
You did your job. Okay, so one more hit should do this.
I mean, you'll be right eventually.
Eventually. Red Mage popping in a big 5 here. Come on, game!
One more hit should do it.
One more hit should do this. You got heal 3. I might actually cast a heal 3 here just to keep my party healthy. Or, there you go.
There we go.
Finally, Red Mage did something. Whee! Everyone's level 20. You're actually starting to get to Topher levels. 3 on the board. Tetron got through it by the skin of his teeth, but he got through it. So, call that a win.
Yeah, I was gonna say a W is a W, no matter how you get it.
So now he's rolling on down. Probably gonna go get that brew stick. Where are you going? What are you doing, Tetron?
Grabbing the loot.
Ah, okay. That's fair. Maybe also revive the black belt while you're here. The next problem is neither of these character or players have a life spell to their name. So a bad Topher is going to be very hard to recover from. Ugh.
All right, you quit that now. As just a reminder to folks in chat, Dark Moon just finished racing jkoper a short time ago and then joined the commentary booth. I just got done with the free enterprise commentary and then jumped into the booth. And our poor tracker JLo is tracking all 3 of the jkoper trilogy tonight. So you got yourself a little bit of a tired runner crew. So don't worry, we don't consider this seed to be boring. Anything but, really. It's just, we've all done a lot today.
We're all going to have a fair bit of seed bleed at this point. So Tetron's coming in. Does Tetron care about the tail? That is the next question. He hasn't found any armor or weapons that make the tail worthwhile. But I guess... Let's see, fighter has -10 luck. I think you care about tail because you can throw the X-Cal on the fighter and it's probably going to do better damage than that iron stick. Oh, say goodbye to the thief.
Bye-bye, thief.
And unfortunately, Tetron didn't drop a house, so he didn't really get a lot of his charges back. I don't know what your plan is now, Tetron, but... Okay, go revive.
Yeah, your plan is to take care of the facilities that are present.
I mean, I was kind of wondering if he was going to do Red Mage in a Dream there for Sea Shrine, but thankfully he's smarter than that. Red Mage in a Dream is not going to work well when all you have is Fire 3 and Quake. Those are the worst spells to take in a Sea Shrine.
I was going to say, yeah, all you need is fire, I guess. Except not.
Still hasn't dropped a house, though, so I don't think he has his charges back yet.
No, he's just been leaning on cabins to this point.
Yes, he did a couple cabin saves there to get his Thief and Black Belt up to 120 health, but... I mean, I'm not going to complain about this Mudgall pack. That's some decent experience. I don't think you need to put all 4 of your guys on them, though, because they're generally not that strong. There we go. Well, Mudgalls just really want to be killed.
Yeah, they're just sort of laying themselves out for the sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, in the last couple of minutes, jkoper has scaled the entirety of the Sky Palace, so about to face his Tiamat.
He's been theoretically behind Tetron this whole time, quote unquote, because of the fact that he hasn't gone to Volcano yet. But I think at this point he kind of knows where the last item is, and so whatever lead Tetron had is basically evaporated.
Yeah, I mean, because really at this point in time, after taking care of the Sky Palace, pretty much the only place that really is left is going to be Volcano.
Uh-huh. He can check the key locks first, except he can't because the key is in Volcano. So the only place he has left is Volcano.
He can check the key locks without a key. It's magic.
Exactly. There's nothing he can do about that. This is it. Sun -2. Oh, yay. I mean, it's something better for your knight to swing, but only by degrees. I would be interested to hear from chat what the difference is between an Iron Stick +4 and a Sun Sword -2. So Tetron is going for his last crystal, and then we're going to see whether or not he cares about class change. I mean, he got the tail, so probably. Or anything else, and just how much of the seed he decides to loot in preparation for Topher. That's a gamer in chat saying that Iron Stick has the better crit rate. I wonder how much that matters if the damage is bad, though. Like, I don't know what the math is for crit plus damage.
While we are watching Tetron make his way through the Sea Shrine and jkoper make his way through the Sky Palace, want to go ahead and give a shout out to both of our runners. Tetron and jkoper have given us quite the race tonight, so definitely much appreciated to both of them. And if you get the chance, go ahead and give them a follow. And also, thank you to all the folks here in the booth, Dark Moon helping me on comms, and JLo helping with the tracking. And also thank you very much to the Speed Gaming community and Speed Gaming for Precisely for letting us have their channel and essentially steal their space for the evening.
So Tetron's doing well level-wise. He's getting into the low to mid-20s. He's getting some good stuff going here. His characters are finally starting to be able to swing out some damage. Like, 4 melees going up against most of the bosses in Temple of Fiends are probably going to be okay, as long as they don't get flattened by, like, Nuke into Blizzard or something.
So, chat pointing out, speaking of Nuke, that the heirs that Tetron had fallen prey to and that jkoper just fell prey to apparently also had Nuke.
Yeah, because if you know, jkoper's all the way back at the bottom of the tower again. Those heirs are gross. I don't think... I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure, because I don't remember them ever being there, they show up in Temple of Fiends, which is probably the one saving grace. Because if they show up in Temple of Fiends, ew.
If they show up in Temple of Fiends Revisited, we might want to run and grab water real quick, because we might be here for a while.
Apparently, heirs can be in Temple of Fiends, so I've just been lucky to never see them. I'm gonna be sad, by the way, if the the gatekeeper of Temple of Fiends is an unrunnable air pack. Putting that out there. Just saying. Oh, look, Black Belt's dead again.
Well, the meat shield apparently is doing meat shieldy things.
Yeah, he ablated that damage real good. JD Silvergun mentioning that there was a pack of airs before that was runnable. That was probably the Gurnaga air pack, and 0 Gurnagas rolled into it. So you could run from the airs because the Gurnaga air pack is runnable, and the Gurnagas just decided to nope out of that pack that time. This pack, however, is... he just resets. Oh, you know, I can't actually blame him for that. That sucks. And he's gonna struggle if he can't get the right, like, luck that Tetron had. So, again, the lead kind of swings back towards Tetron here, because Tetron now has 4 on the floor, doesn't have to go searching for everything, and is past the hellish air floor that we just saw.
Yeah, this... They generally, you don't want these seeds to be quite this gross if you're the runners, but it's definitely been interesting to see the swing back and forth in regards to how the seed has just shifted back and forth.
It's interesting balance. And note, either of these guys could still manage to finish the seed in, I don't know what, 15 minutes or so. If jkoper could quickly get through the Sky Palace at this point, Volcano's not going to take him more than a couple minutes to traverse once he finds that key. And then Temple of Fiends itself is a 10-minute dive, assuming you don't wipe out. So, entirely possible he could finish. Now, Tetron, are you going to go check? Nope. I was kind of hoping Tetron at least checked the Cardias while he was there, but he decided not to. So, I don't know necessarily what Tetron is going to do with his loadout now. I'm mystified, perfectly honest. And finally by Temper, that's going to help. It may just be the Temper Saber show at this point. Okay, so Copes is once again encroaching on that grody final couple floors.
And certainly for jkoper's case, I imagine he's hoping that this will be one of the few, or at least get the right encounter luck to where you don't have to run across those air packs again.
Yeah, honestly, Classic Gamer mentioning this is one of the few times where you're probably, when you're on the Topher air floor, where you're happy to see like the Rock Galls and the Twilight Party pack, because then you don't have to deal with the airs. And Tetron once again getting the bad news that no one gets to learn life.
Which is a big fat womp womp.
That's a huge problem if we find any heirs in Topher. As I said, I don't want to see it being where the gatekeeper of this seed is nuclear heir. So, okay, your ninja can use the Harm 2 sword. No, your ninja can... Okay, never mind. But he did move the Excal onto the fighter, which I like. And I think he put the coral on the red mage just so the red mage can do something. But yeah, the Bane sword isn't going to do a huge amount of damage. But you've got a ninja that can swing it. You may as well have them swing something worthwhile. It's a +2 sword. Why not?
So, since Tetron now has all 4 orbs lit and is about to presumably dive into Topher,
yep.
What do you think are the chances right now?
He's what, level 23? 22.
Something like that,
He's
yeah.
level 22. Okay, if he can get past Kraken, I'm going to give it a coin flip, but I think it's maybe 1 and 4 before we know how bad Kraken may be. Honestly, I wouldn't run from this. I would take... You have warps. I would take any of the good fights you can get, warp out, save those levels, and do it again. And Gasties are some of the best EXP you can get. I would think about doing a couple levels of grind on the first floor of this dungeon, first and second floor of the dungeon before I bounced out. Like you just... 22 is too low for this party with not having any good weapons. 22 is too low. Oh god, he found the heirs again. jkoper, no! And he knows he has to get past it because he keeps finding it. He's got to assume that every other encounter on this floor is air.
Yeah, that's certainly what it looks like for him right now,
yep.
Because I think it's, what, 3rd trip on the Bridge of Destiny?
Yep. Yeah, when Tetron found them, he found them on the teleporter floor right before. And that wasn't much better. They still sucked. But then he got really lucky and didn't see them.
Oh.
And something happened.
Tetron ran into... I don't remember what enemy it was, but he got a few of his party members stoned and only had 1 soft potion.
It was Earth's. I think Earth had something that was stoning them. That's enough. He wasn't that deep. I don't think that's a big deal.
No, I think he had just made it to that Earth floor, so yeah. So yeah, not all that deep.
You lost about 3 minutes. That's not the worst. And unfortunately, you can't guillotine these bats. Because they say more than one thing. Any enemy that has more than 1 script of dialogue cannot be guillotined.
Interesting. I was kind of curious how that worked, and now I have my answer.
Yep. That's why some of the townspeople in Provoca, for example, can't be gotten rid of, is because they'll say something different before and after you kill the pirates. So, things like that. Tetron once again diving his way down. While jkoper did get past those airs, and then gets ambushed by Warmech, because clearly this game loves him.
Yeah, why not at this point? Oh, and it's going to go ahead and taking it.
A bold play there, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
I mean, at this point, you kind of have to imagine... Oh, God, that hit the ninja pretty hard. You have to imagine that jkoper is just sitting... Oh, man. I was going to sit there and say, you would imagine jkoper sitting there thinking, like, whatever, this seed's done plenty to me. I'm just going to do something to it for a change.
Yeah. I can't blame him for running for that, though. He was starting to run low on health on his characters, and if he gets an air pack... Oh, hey, second Warmech.
Another Warmech.
Game clearly wants him to have a ton of experience points. jkoper wants nothing to do with it.
Here, take my XP! No!
Apparently the slimes have blaze and I missed that. That's gross.
Oh, that's not fun at all.
It is? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Classic Gamer sums it up pretty well. Oh my god, I'm being attacked! Oh, whew, it's only a war mech. Things you'll hear only in the randomizer.
Yup. And on the 4th attempt, jkoper makes it to Tiamat.
Woo!
And Tetron makes it past Lich the speed bump the 2nd volume.
You know what? Warmech is so much better than those airs because you can run from Warmech. I don't care what you say.
Yeah, that big fat weight on the screen with those airs is just brutal.
So Tetron's about to... I didn't even see Lich. Lich was that much of a speed bump. We got Kelly here. That's the fun enemy names. Carrie here for us to fight next. Looks like we're going to do a little bit of punching just to test the waters. Fast, swing. Doing okay damage. I think the fighter can probably just start swinging now and it's going to be fine. Meanwhile, yeah, you need to heal. Heal that black belt before they get leveled. You want that meat shield for Kraken. Alright. Wow! Red Mage swinging a Sun Sword for 3 damage and kills Kelly. There we go.
Here, you shall die by the tap of a feather.
Okay. So now we're on the water floor. Didn't really see anything so far from the water enemies that seemed bad. We'll find out if that actually holds true. But of course, the one water enemy we're really worried about here is Kraken at the end of this floor.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just how gatekeepy Kraken is, because of course that's the reputation.
I mean, knowing this game, Kraken could be terrible for us to only get through him and then see nothing but airs on the next floor. So...
Oh, jkoper is able to push through that Tiamat, slogged through it a bit, but made it and has lit that 3rd orb. Now is just off to the volcano to go slay Kelly, whatever you want to call her.
We got Wall, we got Ruse that's going to come out. Punch, 5 hits, 5 damage, not great to see. 4 hits, 179. Okay, Kraken isn't... Well, there goes the black belt. Green belt's on the floor again, no! And the ninja.
Oh gosh, this is not looking good.
I would probably burn some of my tempers now because that red mage is going to die soon. It don't matter, just you're not going to get much temper left. Or tornado, sure, why not? Oh yeah, and Tetron doesn't have a ribbon.
Yeah, because the only one we've seen was in Cardia.
Yeah. As I said, I'm not really liking the odds here.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Although 4 hits, 323 is certainly not bad to see, but this is not portending well. This is not portending well for later.
No. Thankfully, Kraken keeps going after the knight, so the red mage who doesn't have any evasion is sitting pretty still. There you go. There's your tempers. Start using that. That'll help. Again, you're not going to probably get to use that red mage much longer. Just enjoy it while you can. There we go. Okay. Well, we're past that. That's great to see. And the most important thing is our magic caster has survived. So if we get some airs, we might be able to still pack cast on them. Now, what do you do? Tetron seems at a loss, and honestly, I can't blame him. Wall Wall gets off, helps to protect the red mage fighter, and thankfully the slow 2 lands on the red mage, which is all you care about. Ow! That's not great. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah, that's very bad.
That's very not good. That's incredibly not good.
So, as we wait with bated breath, Tetron is trying to get that fighter charged up, and the poor red mage is now just reduced to tossing around heal pots.
Yep, drink strats in a dream. Oh god. Even with 2 walls up, I would still worry about crack. Yep, temper. Just temper. That's your best bet now.
I was going to say, what would be the chance of crack getting through in spite of that wall?
3 and 256. That's it. It's a critical hit would do it, but a critical hit would do it.
Oh my god!
Game!
Oh dear Lord in heaven. Why?
Well, there goes that red mage. Hope you enjoyed having them. You need to start attacking, because yeah, you just go. Just, please go. Just try and get through this now. Okay. Alright, so we are at least through this now. What we need is the kindest chaos possible. We didn't need that. That was exactly what we didn't want. No, that's thank you. Go away. Go away. Go away. Woo! We're through. Okay. Okay. So, no, don't put your fighter in the first slot. So something to note is that this game has a very weird RNG table, and it's very much a table of like 256 entries. And there are ways to get your characters into a crit loop. Like, you hold the A button down, and the game processes the same commands over and over again. And you're just able to do the same thing over and over again, especially with critical hits. So, but it's easier to do if your characters are in the 3rd or 4th slot. So, you need a ruse again. Yeah, that's bad. That's really not the order you should have done that in. So, if you're in 3rd or 4th slot, you... My god.
Oh dear.
I'm just
gonna
shut up now.
Oh, heal pots in a dream, y'all. Heal pots in a dream. The good news is, it does look like that second ruse, at the very least, is providing a bit of protection. So Tetron is able to at least get back on his very, very small fighter feet and hopefully be able to start swinging again. Oh, Ice 3 doesn't help that any. But 5 hits or 250 doesn't help that either. Ugh. This is not looking like a fun chaos fight. It's looking very long and torturous and terrifying.
This was not the kind of chaos we needed. Thankfully, how did he... Does he have a pro ring or something? Did he just get punched through his evasion?
I'm not sure. It's all flashing kind of before my eyes here.
This is the war... Oh, God! Yep, punch through again, by the way.
I think the issue is he only used the root stick twice, so there's still a little bit of room to be hit.
There's a chance to be hit, yeah. Killed by an ice 2. That's just rude. Okay, so... I gotta be honest with you, I understand what he's doing. You gotta try twice, you're here, you're locked in. I feel like you don't do this dive again. I feel like you gotta recalibrate and go hit a couple of quick, easy places. Key locks, or Cardia, or something, and maybe try and find that ribbon, or a sword, or anything that makes this whole dive easier for you.
Yeah, because, I mean, now he knows what's coming, and it's not fun.
No, the nuclear alone is scary enough because those are both non-elemental and are going to go through the ribbon. You don't really have much of an option to get away with that. But at the same time, you need something to help take the edge off of everything else. And then you got to ruse 3 times against that chaos before you start sabering.
Right, yeah, the ruses have to come first.
Chat was asking if jkoper got his key. He killed Carrie, but he's still searching chests, so I think he skipped the roundabouts and decided to do them last, so he'll get his key soon.
Yeah, he did skip his key because we were able to see him in his menu for a fair bit, and there was no key present. So yeah, should be finding it pretty soon, though.
And if he keeps... No. Not different direction, Coper. Alright. Yeah, we have too many spell-happy fiends with not enough levels. I feel like going back in again, while I understand why, is a time waste.
It really is very much a game of, in essence, luck at this point, and luck is not going to work out, most likely in Tetron's favor.
It is, once again, the FFR slot machine. And that's what Coper's playing, and... Not Coper. That's what Tetron's playing, and sure, okay, I get it, but... It doesn't feel good in this instance.
And now Coper picks up that key, and after going to buy the loot, will be in go mode and ready to hit Topher as well. So interestingly enough, Dark Moon, we may very well see the reverse of what we saw earlier today, because in the first match, jkoper dove Topher first, and then you came in afterward. Now Tetron's diving Topher first, and jkoper is going to be coming in afterward. Alright, so Tetron is over at Carrie 2, is going to be buffing up the fighter, going ahead and locking Carrie just to make sure that she stays still, basically. And Black Belt is not really doing much. It's not particularly invested in this, just is taking blows and apparently drinking potions to take more blows. Right, meanwhile, Coper is wrapping up all the last business that he has prior to going into Topher, presumably. We do not have that loot marked on the tracker, so hoping that jkoper remembers to get it or has gotten it. Otherwise, it's going to be a rude surprise in a couple of minutes.
I was muted for the last couple minutes, saying some really exceptionally cogent things that everyone needed to hear, and you kept talking over me. I'm like, what are you doing, Karant? No, that was entirely my fault. So I want to. You made the comment that Tetron and this race is the exact opposite of what was seen earlier, and I think that's true. Not to spoil anything, but my race against jkoper happened a couple hours ago. And yeah, his was a matter of he went in early and a little less better equipped, and my black belt freight train came in behind and just rushed it and killed it. In this particular instance, Tetron has been here a while with a low level party that's not very well equipped, while jkoper, while not having levels that are substantially better, is far better equipped and feels in a much better place to be able to survive what this dungeon is going to throw at him. I mean, he's got, what, a Vorpal, he's got the Excal, he's got a Katana, he's got people that can swing them. He's in a great place.
And then realizes he doesn't have the loot.
Oops, well, okay, so he'll be in a great place in a couple minutes. It's fine. He knows where it is. It's no mode.
Yeah, it's just, I had mentioned it when you were still on mute. That's one of the things that I had mentioned was that he didn't have that loot. But of course, like you said, knows where it is and is probably going to be kicking himself a little bit. But
yeah,
oh well.
It's fine. I still think he's got the edge here because, like, Tetron still doesn't have a good answer for what to do against these 3 bosses.
Yeah, so we'll see now that Coper has the loot. We'll see if he is able to catch up to Tetron. Tetron, of course, is in Kraken 2 and
Yep.
has 3 party members up, albeit the red mage barely, but still 3 party members.
Yeah, he lost one so far to Kraken, but in fairness, he had 4 party members coming in the last time and lost 2. So he is up 1. He's doing better. He's gotten a Blade of Meat Shield to help against Tiamat when it comes up, so that might be the thing. You might just be able to survive with a couple extra members going into Chaos. We'll see. Anyone extra you can have that survives is going to be a good time. And honestly, as sucky as it is to have to fight vampires right now, I actually don't necessarily mind it, because maybe you can get an extra level out of this and make your next fights easier.
Yeah, these vampires are definitely good for experience, pretty much no matter where you see them. And it looks like they went down fairly easily, so yeah, a couple of party members getting an extra level, that'll just be a little bit more buffer. Being able to go into this Tier 2 fight with 3 living party members is definitely a much better position than Tetron was in last time.
Yeah, he has 3 party members instead of just the 1-man mode. He's got, Oh, I might think about taking this fight too, honestly. I mean, I get it, they're punching hard, but that's some of the best experience of the game, short of the gas dragons themselves. So Cure 4 was at level... What chat's asking? At level... something.
Cure 4 was at level 4 in the 4th slot.
So Red Wizard could learn it. Yes. I think,
Red Mage
4
did
slots
not.
learnable. Yeah. I think it's 4 slot at level 4. I don't think it's 2nd slot level 4. Level 4 confuses me. There we go, J-Load confirming. So I just don't think anyone bought it. That said, it... Yeah, actually, all it shares is a level with Warp. I absolutely would buy that at this point, but I don't think either of the players is going to remember it. That's the problem. Cure 4 would probably help a lot with this. Tiamat is a beast this time, like both times. It's just, oh god, this Temple of Fiends is not pretty.
No, not in the slightest. It's just, and as chat was mentioning, for these last 3 bosses to be as nasty as they are, is just, you don't see that combination so often.
Part of me wonders, a thought process here. I mean, if Tetron finishes first, I expect jkoper to finish it out. I wonder if the opposite is true. If jkoper finishes and Tetron's still struggling here, does he finish this out? And I gotta tell you, if it was me, after seeing how gross this is, I don't think I do. I'm not a big fan of forfeiting out when you're right at the last dungeon, but in this particular instance, this feels like a last dungeon from, like, Final Fantasy 3 J or something like that. This is just gross.
And considering I just played the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy 3 about a month ago, yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, that last dungeon is disgusting, isn't it?
I mean, it's a little bit less disgusting in PR because it autosaves every floor, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, autosave would have been lovely. Do it on the NES where it doesn't, and you spend like 3 hours in a dungeon. Oh, open up with nuclear. Okay, can we calm it down just a little, Chaos, please? Just a little.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's a grand old time in Chaos's house tonight, it seems.
Okay, now make sure you get your ruses up. I'm happy you got the fast, but make sure you get those ruses up. No. Okay, I mean, sure, you got a Blade of Meat Shield, that's fine. But you won't have him for long.
Yeah, it's just counting on the black belt to take all the punches, I guess.
Which so far hasn't worked out great, because Chaos keeps punching a fighter. You did a thing, Black Belt, good for you!
Black belt, your face was perfectly in position to block it. Wonderful.
Still sabering. Ink's fine, ink is tolerable.
Yeah, I think that last fighter hit had been about 300, so wanted to make sure Yeah, I wanted to make sure that the hits were much better.
Which there's only so much you can do with the Excal against Chaos, because the biggest benefit of the Excal is that it has, it affects every single type of magical weakness in the game, but Chaos doesn't have any of them. And its damage and crit rate on its own, not that great. But he's finally getting up towards like the 900s. Maybe one more swing? There you go, you did, Tetron. All you needed was a couple meat shields. Well done, and GG.
GG to Tetron, finishing in first place. Let's see, that official time is 1 hour, 42 minutes, 24 seconds.
Yeah, this seed was worse than mine. Let's get Tetron in here so he can talk about it and lament all the suffering he just caused. Or went through, or whatever.
Yep, that's going to be on a Speed Gamer invite, so it might be a moment before Tetron joins us if he does indeed choose to join us. Meanwhile, jkoper is currently feeling the wrath of Tia 2. Has 3 party members alive as well, but looks like is getting a little bit of paralysis issues. All right, and we are joined by Tetron. Congratulations, GG Tetron. Would you like to air some grievances for a moment?
Can you hear us, Tetron?
Yes, yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So, Carol was just asking if you wanted to air any grievances.
Those trans airs, man.
Oh, okay, so here's the thing that you didn't see because you reset out. They also had nuke. Those were the worst airs I've ever seen.
They really were. So, yeah, so I was, thinking about this. You always fight your last battle, right? So, my match against Burt Reynolds, it was actually a really similar party. And I took the black belt and did a grind, and I spent like half an hour grinding something that had too much hit points, which is just stupid. And so Bert went like, all right, whatever, the black belt will just be there to take the hits, and took a thief carry and like beat me by 15 minutes. Even though the black belt, murdered everything. So this time I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go in on the fighter. That was a stupid idea. Yeah, I wish I'd just like parked on a black belt Agama grind or something, and then that Topher would have been, a much more, much less stressful experience.
Well, this seed still, I think the airs were probably the real punctuation of the seed, but it just threw a bunch of things at y'all. It threw just weird scatterings of key items. Also, GG's to jkoper, who just finished, took out Chaos with a time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, 34 seconds. So GG's to jkoper.
Frost Gerwolves, also, those were fun.
Oh yeah, chat pointed those out too.
Yeah, the garbage equipment, that was like, actually it was pretty awesome how the Red Mage was like the MVP for the first 3/4 of the seed, because he was swinging the Excal and the only one who like had any magic to do any AoE damage. And yeah, but I had to go out and get the tail just to give the Excal to the fighter so that I could go all in on the fighter, which just barely worked. But yeah, and well, actually the first Topher dive with the stone poison earths was fantastic. And yeah, that chaos, dying on chaos like that felt bad. I was really trying to get ahead of his attacks, but I probably should have just sabered up a few more times. I don't know. It's always tough when you're like soloing chaos like that. But yeah, I just didn't feel like I had the gear, or like I just didn't have a good strategy. It was a forced party, so with 3 melees, I had lousy magic options, and so it was all just all right. Let's see what we can put together here.
Well, I want to say also GG's to jkoper, who is also with us in the booth. GG's jkoper. And as I asked Tetron, would you like to air some grievances?
That's great. Yeah, that was one of the most ridiculous fights I've seen in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was something. Anyway, GG Tetron. Yeah. Obviously, I feel really bad about forgetting the drum there. That might have been enough to make the difference. It was really close to, about 3 minutes. I'm not sure. It's probably not quite 3 minutes though. But, yeah, it sounds like he had a lot of trouble in Topher. I didn't have any trouble really. I don't know. Thought it was pretty straightforward. I guess maybe I just got lucky in the encounter table or something. But yeah, I need also other mistake I made is I need to start writing down my bonuses and malices or something, because I totally forget what's going on half the time, and yeah, that's not helpful. Like not remembering what weapons they can all equip. Not very helpful for winning. But other than that, I thought it went fine. So yeah, I don't know. Did you guys have any questions for me?
Well, I will say in terms of you mentioning the bonuses and malices, I had seen in the race room that was, you had been trying to check those right before everything was started and right before I dropped the gate. So I had mentioned in chat that might have been something that had played into how you had played, because of, I think it was it must have been the X-Cal, I think, that maybe had been, that you had forgotten who could equip it. So yeah. I speculated that might have been what that was, that you just didn't get the chance to get those bonuses and malices down.
Yeah, Xcal on. I just checked. You can, if you watch the broadcast, you'll see me rechecking at start. But yeah, the Xcal could have been on the red mage, obviously, and then the Vorpal on the black belt, which seems silly, but I'm pretty sure that was a better bet than anything. Well, that's only if we had 2 Vorpals. There's only 1 Vorpal, isn't there? Or was it yeah, I think it was Vorpal on black belt. So maybe that was irrelevant, because Vorpal on fighter was pretty good. But I should have put the Xcal on the red mage. Yeah. So I'm not sure if those 2 mistakes that I had there were enough to make any of a difference. They very well might have. But yeah, stuff happens. Move on. I'm not too worried about this tournament. I'm happy that I am providing some exciting races for people to watch, and that's all I really care about.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, there's no question about that, because if I read correctly, you're doing a 3-pack tonight? You're doing 3 races?
Yeah, it's as long as I have not so much stuff going on this week in other tournaments. This was just a time when I had time open and everyone was willing to race, so I said, let's do it. So, yeah. I'm not worried about getting worn out or anything like that, so it's fine. Hoping for no seed bleed. I think that's less likely in this game for some reason. I don't know why. But who knows? We'll see next race how much I screw up. Yeah. really gonna have a tough one next round with Bert. So, but I'll just give it my best and see what happens.
Yeah, well, definitely GG's to you. I know that match with Bird is scheduled to start in not very long, so I don't really have any other questions for you. Dark Moon, do you?
No, I think that covered most of it. This was a delightfully hellish time, all things considered.
Yeah, would have been an interesting seed without the errors for me. That was really the only thing that slowed me down, other than my own mistakes. So, yep. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tetron. You're awfully quiet, but thanks for the commentary and tracking, everybody.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna go check in on my next race. So,
As will I, since I'm there for that one as well.
have a good one, guys.
Yeah, you too.
Great.
You want to take us away, Karan?
Certainly. So thank you to everybody on Speed Gaming 4 for joining us tonight, and thank you to Speed Gaming for letting us have the channel. Definitely give a follow to both of our runners, Tetron and jkoper, if you haven't already. And thank you to Dark Moon for helping me out here in the booth, and JLo for tracking and keeping all our heads on straight. And for everybody here at Final Fantasy Randomizer, we definitely appreciate y'all being here tonight. And of course, we have more Final Fantasy Randomizer action to come, so stay tuned. Thank y'all, and have a good night.